I want to start with something tonight that worst case is disturbing and most likely criminal. I've confirmed with multiple sources there is a video of this. I have not seen it. If we had it, I would not show it. I might not even look at it. You know, there are geese roaming around many country club courses in the valley. They don't bother you, and you don't bother them. This incident occurred at Chaparral Country Club in Palm Desert. For some unexplained, borderline psychotic reason, a man in a golf cart who was not playing golf but driving around decided to run a goose over. If that's not bad enough, he took a golf club and started hitting it. That's not all. He then grabbed it, took it to a trash dumpster, and threw it in. Animal services were called. They came out and euthanized it because it was still alive. Again, it happened at Chaparral Country Club. Security cameras caught the attack. The sheriff has the tape, and I think the DA does as well. Who is the man? No one is saying. Has he been arrested? No. What can the club do? Hold a disciplinary hearing to talk about what they can do. I'm not sure they can throw him out of the club, or if he owns a place there, make him sell it. But would you really want him to be your neighbor? Our guest tonight, the married couple, Doug and Jamie Baker. Jamie, we'll start with you. Your first reaction to hearing this.
I'm furious. If he is a golfer, he's a bad one with a handicap at the high end of double digit. He probably gets called out by a word that starts with an A, ends with an E, with a couple of S's in the middle. Wow. I didn't know he was in Palm Desert. I want to go make a citizen's arrest. Oh my God, this is terrible.
Doug, you hear the story and you say what?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and geese are wonderful animals like ducks. They mate for life. So in all likelihood, this duck's mate is mournfully looking for his or her mate to come home. And what could force a person to run over a goose, beat it with a golf club, throw it at a dumpster? And it's horrifying. And yet we know, studies have shown that people who are prone to violence with animals are also prone to violence with humans.
Well, we
gotta
know,
be arrested.
We know laws against animal abuse exist. Do you think this man should be arrested, Doug?
Absolutely. And I know the charge is what they call a warbler. It could be a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on how they want to charge him. It ought to be a felony. Okay, and he ought to feel some pain for what he did.
Do you think there's any reason he could come up with, Jamie, that could justify what he did?
I would love to see or hear him try, because there is no excuse. He needs help, like therapy. He needs help. He has lots of issues that needs to be addressed.
All right. Years ago, I called my doctor, and I asked him to write me a prescription for a Z-Pack because I had a sinus infection. He told me I had to come in and see him. I said, but I know it's just a sinus infection. Write the prescription. Nope. I had to go in. So I get there. I'm waiting in the examining room. He walks in and he says, pull down your pants. I'm giving you a rectal. A rectal? I have a sinus infection. He made me turn around, drop my pants, and he gave me a rectal. And I'll tell you, it wasn't pleasant. Then he says, if you still think you have a sinus infection, I'll give you the Z-Pack. I'll never forget that, because this is what it taught me. If somebody doesn't want to fix your problem, they'll try and get you to focus on something else. Here's Cathedral City Mayor Nancy Ross at the council meeting the other night.
A public hearing. It is an extension of a cannabis moratorium. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance extending the cannabis moratorium on the approval of new cannabis licenses and conditional use permit, and the issuance of building permits for a build-out or expansion of a new cannabis business.
Well, that's great news. They extended the moratorium on new cannabis businesses. But is that really the point? The point is the one currently operating. That's the one with the problem. Residents continue to complain about the smell. You give them the rectal, and maybe they'll forget about how bad that smell is. Doug, do you agree they're trying to confuse people with the old switcheroo?
Well, I think I'm already confused hearing the word rectal 2 or 3 times tonight. Yes, they are. They're taking attention away from the real issue, which is the smell of this particular cannabis plant. And it's going to lead to a lawsuit. You know it is. And the city is just, I don't know why they're just sitting on the curb, dangling their legs and not doing much about it.
I don't know, Jamie. You know, we've talked about this for a while. People have been angry. Now they put in a new ordinance. They're going to continue the moratorium, which does nothing for the current smell. But do you think the residents are overreacting to this nuisance?
Oh no, they waited too long to react. I think this council is full of people who are stuck on this "we've always done it this way" mentality that is crooked, self-serving, and inefficient.
Doug, if you lived there, would you be first in line to file a class action suit?
I certainly would, especially after this delay. I'll guarantee you anything. If one or two of those council people lived near that plant, this would be resolved.
All right. Coachella Valley has more golf courses per capita than anywhere in the United States. You ever been driving down the street and your car suddenly hit by a golf ball? You've been walking down the street and hit with a golf ball? One of our viewers, Brian Turner, wrote in and asked, if that happens to you, what can you do? For the answer, let's bring in our legal consultant, Walter Clark. All right, Walter, you know our dilemma tonight. One of our viewers says driving down the street, somebody hits a golf ball hits the car and causes injury or damage. Is there any responsibility to the golfer or the resort he's playing on?
I agree with your viewer 100%. Of course. Basic negligence. You are responsible for things that you have on your property that get away from you, whether it's a dangerous animal, a golf ball, flood water, or even radiation, like in the Silkwood case. So, yeah, it's the responsibility of the property owner, especially when they have the ability to control it and it's foreseeable. I mean, this happens a lot. So, absolutely, the golf facility, whatever it is responsible.
All right. If that's being said, though, does the facility require the complaining party to identify the golfer that hit the ball?
That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It's ridiculous. There's no need to identify the bad golfer or to try to be good golfer, whatever it is.
So if I'm driving down, let's say Monterey or Cook, and I go by a golf resort, and I'm driving, all of a sudden I look at a ball comes down and hits my windshield. What am I supposed to do?
Well, you got to avoid as best you can. But the bottom line is to protect yourself. Number one, you should have comprehensive auto insurance because that covers you whether a tree falls on your car or a golf ball hits it or it catches on fire or it's stolen. But to get even with the country club, you can sue them in small claims court for up to $12,500. And really, these claims are small, so that's why no one is putting together a class action or something. But you have the right to go to court and bring your claim, and you should get compensated for your property damage. Or, as I said, if you have insurance, turn the claim into your insurance company, and they'll take care of it.
Walter, great stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
Delighted to see you again, Fred. Thanks so much.